It is time for
Original Tales of Horror.
terrifying true stories of the paranormal, urban legends and folklore.
Join us as we explore the dark, the terrifying, and the unknown.
Welcome to the podcast where no matter what time it is always
Horror time.
Welcome everyone, I'm Mason and this is my best bro Elias. We are about to head into the infamous Serene Sanatorium. How are you doing with that? What? Like it? Found this camcorder in my dad's attic. Figured it would add a nice vintage feel. Retro's in, man. Viewers will appreciate this shit.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not carrying it though, FYI.
You sure about this secret entrance?
Oh, shit. Freaking thorns. God, this place is covered in them. Oh, come on. I think it's over here. So, Mason, what's the deal with this place anyway?
Glad you asked. Here, hold the camera.
Told you I'm not holding that thing.
Too bad. Here, center up, right here. This will be a nice backdrop, I think. Right. And go. We are now inside the nests of the sanitarium. For those of you who are not familiar, here is where the ghastly story of how a true fuck of a person conducted. Alright, I'm ready. Alright. We are now inside the halls of the sanitarium. For those of you who aren't familiar, here is where the ghastly story of how a true fuck of a person conducted experiments on the patients of this facility. Legend says that this doctor would take patients down into a basement lair. Legend said that this doctor would take patients down into the basement where he would have multiple types of experiments set up to try and test how they would deal with stress. But he would do it in unimaginable ways, just completely inhumane. Some of them died from it. Some of them just went insane from it. And some, they were basically dead. Legend also says that the doctor, if you listen closely, is roaming the hallways looking for his next victims to test. And also, the patients that were here at this sanitarium are stuck in a loop over and over again, reliving these awful experiments.
Damn, that is some messed up shit.
Right? Yeah, screw it. Just ask. What's the worst that can happen?
I don't know, bro. I just want to ask her. I don't know if she's gonna say yes. Yeah, you're tripping, bro.
What the hell? Dude, what did you eat?
Yeah, I didn't fart. But, God, it smells like ass in here.
Smells like going into the bathroom after you're done with it.
Shut the hell up.
Yes, let's check it out.
Come on, man. Let's just keep going. I don't want to get caught.
Calm down, you wuss.
Over there. Look that up. It's right over there. Never mind. It says Dr. Bye.
Get over here now.
What?
Yo, this place looks untouched. This is not... Here, get some footage over there.
Christ, you scared the shit out of me.
That's not hard.
Shut the hell up.
Like a journal? Here, get me, come on, get me open it up. Guys, we just found this doctor journal in this office subscribe if you want me to open this book, and comment down below what you think is inside. Ow! Ow! I swear, that book just burned my hands, dude. Check it out.
What?
The VHS on the desk. Let's pop it in, guys. See what it has in store for us.
December 8th, 1980, at approximately 1900 hours. Here we have subject 44 and 45. Desired result is measurable result of brain action under severe stress. Let's begin first gas test.
First number is 27, 46, 12, 4, and 21. Hey everyone, the camera just got out during us watching the VHS, but we found a safe in the office that we are currently trying to open. Comment down below what you think is inside.
I'm not sure about this now, man. I have a weird feeling. I think we should just keep going.
Quit being a wimp.
Did you just hear that? What is that? Do you see that?
Yeah, I do see that. Shh. Hey. Hello? Shit, camera.
Just leave it. Come on. We gotta go. We gotta get out of here.
No, we need this footage. If anyone sees this video, please tell our families we love them. And please don't come here. No, please. Hello, horror fans. I'm Timekeeper Matt.
And I'm Timekeeper Pat.
And welcome to this last official episode of season 4. No, 3. 4?
3. Season 3.
I'm getting ahead
Almost
of
there.
myself. Getting ahead of myself. Yes, official end of season 3. Brain fart. Yeah. So it's been an awesome season. But anyway, we are going to be talking about the shame of Pennsylvania today, which is the Pennhurst Asylum. And it is considered to be one of the most haunted places in the United States of America. So, pretty crazy. Every year they do hold, I don't know if they've just recently started it or if it's been a while. I can't remember. I've never, even though I'm from Pennsylvania, I've never been to the Pennhurst Asylum, but they do hold like a haunted attraction there. For a long time, it was abandoned, and now, yeah, they hold that. And that is a very controversial topic, and we'll talk about that at the end there, whether or not it should actually happen, because you hear the history of this, and it's, yeah. So, all right, let's get into it.
So, like I said, the shame of Pennsylvania, as they call it, the Pennhurst Asylum, or what it was originally called, was the Institution of the Feeble-Minded, I believe, something like that. Very, very
Yee.
outdated term.
Like
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Yeah, right off the bat, incredibly outdated term. I mean, it was built in 1908. At first, it was a state school and hospital, better known now as the Pennhurst Asylum. It opened its doors in Spring City, Pennsylvania. It was supposed to be the intention for it, is what I'm trying to say, was to be kind of a safe haven for those with disabilities, with intellectual and developmental disabilities. But as with many institutions of its kind during that time, it became more of a house of horrors for those folks rather than a place of safe haven. And it's kind of crazy. I heard something like the grounds of Pennhurst had almost like 100 and some buildings on it. um it was like a straight up like little town. It wasn't just like I when I was thinking about it, I thought it was just kind of like a hospital, but
Uh-huh.
it was like a functioning town. They do have tunnels underneath that connected each one, which we'll talk about, or those are kind of haunted. But you know, including like like little farms, barns and stuff that people didn't necessarily live in, but there were like 100 and some structures on the town. And I think things that people actually lived in was like, you know, 30 or something like that. But yeah, it was a full out town, city, like everything. I think it even had its own power plant, if I recall correctly.
Yes, that's what I
Yeah.
saw.
Yeah, so crazy. So one of those things, like I said, since it was so big, overcrowding and underfunding plagued the asylum from the start. Patients were neglected, abused, often confined to their beds with leather straps. Physical and sexual abuse were rampant. And people ignored this. You know, and it was kind of kept hidden from the public. And it was one of those things too. It was just kind of back then. It was, oh, there's something wrong with, you know, Susie or George, and we're just gonna send them there. This will be the best for them, and that's how they just kind of presented themselves. And it's like, oh, here, yeah, we'll just send you there, and you know, you'll be fine. And it really kind of turned out that a lot of the individuals that were there were tortured, abused their entire lives. You know, you obviously have your survivors and your, you know, people who are still alive that went to there, because the institution was open all the way up through 1987. Didn't close its doors until then. The biggest thing that really kind of turned the pushed the needle into the direction of it eventually closing was in the 1960s. There was a an expose on NBC News called "For the Little Children," and it just showed the environments that these individuals were being raised in, and it
Uh-huh.
was just absolutely awful. I guess just, you know, terrible. Like, I heard reports that people who were on this team, they actually had to like leave because they were like
So
throwing up.
disturbed.
They were so
Yeah.
disturbed because people, yeah, I mean, like there were parts where they said they were in their own fecal matter. Like they were
Ugh.
literally like just in their own shit. And like they had to leave the rooms because it was just so disgusting and so awful. So I mean, the legacy of this place is not a good legacy. And as you can see, as far as, you know, turning it into a haunted attraction, you can see why that controversy is there.
Uh-huh.
Um, but like I said, it closed in 1987, um, and uh, it wasn't until 1992 or so is when the first recorded reports of paranormals are happening. So obviously, when a place closes and it sits there and becomes abandoned, especially a place like an asylum, and that was so infamous, such as this one, you're going to have people that are your paranormal explorers or just your urban explorers looking for those abandoned places, because people like abandoned shit. You know, it is cool. I'm gonna say it
Mm-hmm.
is cool. You know, I've been there, done that, where you go into these places that are abandoned, and it's just so crazy to see that and think of a place that was once, well, not in this case necessarily thriving, but like once something. And especially when it has such an awful history to it, there's definitely a pull towards that, and I can understand that pull there. So the first reports of paranormal, like I said, it was 1992. The visitors, trespassers reported hearing disembodied voices, footsteps echoing down empty hallways, and the inexplicable feeling of being watched. But that was just kind of the tip of it all. As I said in the beginning, this is known as the most haunted, or at least one of the most haunted places in America, in the United States of America. So, obviously we've only touched a few places in our 3 seasons that are haunted in the United States of America. And there's, hundreds, if not thousands of places that people have said that. So we'll go over some of the main resident haunts of the Pennhurst Asylum. So we'll start with the Shadow Man. This figure is often mentioned in reports and documentaries about Pennhurst. He's noted for its dark and ominous presence. Many visitors have reported seeing a tall, shadowy figure lurking in the hallways. Often described as having having no discernible features, just like a dark silhouette that instills a sense of dread. There is a story that one night a paranormal team set up their equipment in one of the old wards, and as they reviewed the footage afterwards, they caught a glimpse of the Shadow Man standing still in a doorway before just vanishing into thin air. Yeah, that's terrifying. Yeah, this place just sounds wild if all these things are true. One of the most infamous little haunts there is a little girl. Readings and recordings of the little girl's voice or laughter have actually been reported by visitors and paranormal investigators. One group actually captured a chilling EVP of a young girl saying, "Come play with me," apparently. And then another visitor heard giggling, followed by a soft patter of footsteps. And then they followed the sound and found themselves in an empty room with a single old toy sitting in the middle. Yeah, that's a shit of nightmares, right?
Wait for that door to slam behind him.
Yeah, right? I know, right? And then there's the King. This ghost is believed to be a former patient who referred to himself as royalty. EVP recordings have captured a deep voice declaring, "I am the King." Some who have encountered the spirit describe feeling an overwhelming sense of authority and power, as if they're in the presence of someone who truly believed they were royal. So I'm assuming it was one of the residents, and that was just that they believed about themselves is that they were royalty. And I guess in their afterlife, they still feel that way. So good on them. Keep that confidence up.
Yeah. I wish I had that confidence.
Yeah, right. And then there's the nurse. So of course you got to have your haunted nurse in a hospital and an asylum, right? What would a haunted asylum or hospital be without a ghostly nurse? It's another frequently seen apparition. Various accounts describe the sighting of the nurse in different parts of the hospital, particularly in the medical areas, obviously. Witnesses often report seeing her moving swiftly down the hallways, checking on invisible patients. She's usually described as wearing an old-fashioned nurse's uniform. And one night, a group of ghost hunters saw her figure in the distance, only to have her vanish as they approached. It's a common theme, I guess. Then there's the Howling Mad. This spirit is based on reports of unexplained screams and howls heard throughout the facility. These sounds are attributed to them. This is kind of the kind of a sad part, and I don't know, I just get a little sad thinking about this. Like, are these people really in a loop, or is it just kind of energy and it just is echoing? But it's attributed to former patients known for such behavior, and then late at night these howls echo through the abandoned halls, sending chills down the spines of everyone nearby. One former security guard recalls hearing a blood-curdling scream that seemed to come from all directions at once. God.
It's like, oh.
Yeah, that's terrifying. My God. How could you, like, if I was that security guard and I was in that situation, I just think I would need major therapy after that. Like, I don't know how you can come out of that and not have like crazy PTSD or something, you know?
Yeah.
Or not be like, okay, I'm done. I quit. Just drop your shit on the
no,
floor
thank you.
and I'm gone. Here's my badge. Here's my flashlight. I am out of here. Yeah. Pennhurst is also haunted by voices of children. Multiple sources report hearing the sounds of children playing or crying. Another sad thing, reflecting the many young patients who once lived there. So there were a lot of children. Like I said, people would just kind of ship their children off to here. One investigator recorded the sound of a child whispering, "I miss my mommy." I mean, come on, that's so harsh. It's fuck. Yeah, it's terrifying, but come on, god damn. I don't know. Maybe as a parent, just hits me like.
Oh, I mean, I get it.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's awful. If I heard that, I'd be like, I don't know what to do. Like, I can tell it the truth, but I don't know if that's gonna help. And
Right.
I want to tell the truth because I want to help, but I don't want to tell the truth because I don't want it to lash out.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, like, as far as like Hollywood wise, like I could see that as like a very creepy moment in a horror film. But like if I'm actually seeing that in front of me, it's like, man, my heart right now.
It's like, you can come home with me. You're fine. Come with me.
Yeah. Come on,
I got you.
Come on, little ghost. Let's go have fun. Yeah, exactly. And then there's also a maintenance man. So the maintenance man, people have reported that they encounter this maintenance man, a spectral figure believed to be one of the former maintenance workers. He is often seen carrying tools, walking around the grounds as if he's continuing his duties. One night, a visitor saw him in the boiler room working on a machine, and then when the visitor approached to ask the question, you can just guess what I'm going to say. He vanished. Yeah, stuck in a loop, just doing your job. Damn. The same with the nurse. It's like, what the hell? It's like, I don't want to work in my afterlife. All right. Another one is the screaming lady. Many visitors report of a woman's scream echoing through the halls late at night. One investigator recounted how during a visit they heard piercing cries coming from the upper floors. When they rushed to find the source, they found the area completely deserted. However, the air was thick with an unsettling, oppressive energy, as they said, as if the walls themselves were vibrating with agony.
So like yeah. Okay.
I don't know. It's something about the idea of having this noise and nothing there almost scares me more than like seeing something in front of me or like hearing the noise and then going and seeing a ghost and then seeing it disappear. Like having all those screams come at me at once or having this screaming lady and I have no clue where it comes from. There's this like unknown that I just find to be like, ooh.
Yeah.
It's almost like, yeah, it's almost more unsettling to me.
I was just going to say, like, I mean, it could be just like the building itself has absorbed everything, all the energy, and it's just producing it constantly.
Right.
And
That's
like
what I mean.
the building itself is now a thing.
The building is almost alive.
Yeah. Kind of.
Yeah,
or the grounds or whatever you want to say.
That is an interesting concept. Like, what is it? Just like these places, these houses, just absorb the energy and it just echoes and bounces off the walls type of thing where it's not necessarily the people or their spirits. It's just this. We've kind of discussed that before, but just, yeah, like you said, like it almost absorbs it. That's an interesting concept. All right, so we have the ghostly janitor, another person working, frequently encountered at Pennhurst. Some visitors report seeing the man in overalls sweeping or mopping the floors, and then approached, fades away, leaving behind a distinct smell of cleaning chemicals, which is interesting. You don't hear too many well, you hear about the smells, like, if there's like a rotten egg smell or something that comes up a lot, but like something that has to do with their job, that's, we've heard that kind of that stuff before, but like, with Lucille Ball and Paramount where you smell her perfume so it's kind of similar to this. Paranormal investigators have suggested that this could be the spirit of a janitor who worked at the asylum for many years and continued his duties even after death. Again, that would suck.
I mean, unless they liked it, right? Unless they actually enjoyed what they do.
Yeah,
that's what I want to say.
Yeah, there is that concept, I guess. Yeah, maybe that's where they were happy in life is, just doing their job. And then, with all this paranormal activity, there's numerous accounts of cold spots. Visitors often describe walking through areas where the temperature suddenly drops dramatically, despite the building's lack of climate control, because it's an abandoned building rotting away. So it's open. So
Mhm.
it's like, how do you have these cold spots, especially if it's like the middle of the summer and, you're walking through this place? Like, that's weird. Um, they're
Just
freak.
a side note on that, if
Yeah.
you remember about the cobweb thing we talked
Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
you know how many cobwebs I felt in the past couple of weeks to just walking through stuff, and I'm like,
I know that passes through my head now too. Like, what? Where was it? Where was it? But I have to remember. Okay, it's like the summer. Like spiders are out there. It's very hard
hmm
to see that stuff, but you never know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I
Oh
just
no, you're
I
good.
remembered that when you said it.
Yeah, think I'm paranoid now. But yeah, so the cold spots are frequently accompanied by feelings of dread, the sensation of being watched, and one paranormal investigator even reported seeing their breath in one particularly cold area, despite it being a warm summer night outside, like we said. So like that's kind of freaky. Like you can actually see your breath. It's not even that it just feels like a cold spot; that it legit is cold enough
Cold.
to see your breath, even though the outside around you is warm. So
Oof.
that's weird.
I would chat myself.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And then there's a lesser known one, but is equally chilling, is the cursed room. This room is said to be the epicenter of paranormal activity. Many who have entered report feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, nausea, and in some cases, physical aggression. One investigator claimed to have been pushed by an unseen force, leaving them with bruises the next day.
Hmm.
Yeah, and when I was looking on Reddit, someone who worked there even said that like they are told not even to go into the building. They can't even, they don't even allow anyone into the building because there's so many reports of that happening. Yeah.
Wow.
And then lastly, we have the doctor. Some visitors have reported seeing a man in a white coat, believed to be the spirit of one of the asylum's doctors. He is often seen in the medical wings, sometimes holding old surgical instruments. Witnesses described feeling a cold chill and an intense feeling of being unwelcome in his presence. Yeah, because he was probably a piece of shit.
That's weird. That's
Yeah.
super weird. Ugh.
Yeah. So speaking of Reddit, I do have some accounts that I stumbled upon looking on Reddit because there's some good stuff sometimes there. Um, so let's see. One is described how a group of friends decided to explore the asylum at night, and as they ventured deeper into the building, they began hearing faint whispers and footsteps behind them. Then they turned around and saw a shadowy figure watching them from the end of the hallway. Happened. So yeah, I mean the king is a reported haunt. So
Yeah.
if these things are to believe, it is Reddit. So who knows? But if they are to believe, that's wild. Yeah, it's creepy.
Oof.
And I also saw like one of these pictures. I saw a few photos, and there was this one of this kid like sitting in this like one. I don't know how you sit in this chair without like being terrified that you're going to catch some like awful unknown disease, because it was like half black mold and looked like from like 1950s. Yeah, and but the picture you can literally see a figure behind him as he's sitting in the picture.
What?
It's pretty wild, and the rest of the room is light, and you kind of see like this darkish figure behind him. Yeah, I'll have to show the picture. Maybe I'll put it up on our socials later. But yeah, wild. Anyway, I just thought of that. And then another Reddit user recounted their experience with a nurse while on a guided tour of Pennhurst. They decided to wander off alone, probably not the
Oh,
greatest
okay.
idea, but they found themselves in an old patient room and suddenly felt an icy hand grip their shoulder. Turning around, they saw the faint outline of a woman in a nurse's uniform. She stared at them with sad eyes before disappearing. The user later found out that the room was where many patients had been treated and some had passed away. Nope.
Yeah. So she's like,
Done.
get the fuck out of here.
And I'm done with that tour. And I'm gone. I
It's
just
so
think of like
funny.
I just think of like a figure that looks like the nun, from like those Conjuring movies. Like I
Oh
just
yeah,
but like in a nurse's uniform. Like that's just what I picture. I'm like,
I see the Silent Hill
oh yeah,
nurses.
God, yeah, that too. And then a particularly unnerving story from Reddit involves a user who visited Pennhurst during a paranormal investigation. They brought a Ouija board. Person um, claimed that they were kidnapped and they were brought there and left there for a night. And they talk about like all the things that happened to them. I don't know how much truth there is behind it, but it was a intriguing read.
I could see it
Um,
being like an initiation thing.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I could believe that one.
But yeah, so that's kind of all I have of the Pennhurst Asylum. So my question is, would you go?
I'd be interested in going, yes, but I would make
Yeah.
sure that I didn't invite anything. I didn't wander off.
Well,
Like,
next time I'm in PA, maybe we'll make a visit.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we
Um,
can we can report our findings to our
yeah, dude. Yeah,
fans.
that would be a fun live one. Um, hopefully we don't repeat our original tale that we told in the beginning
Oh,
of the
oh my
episode,
gosh. I
but
hope not.
so and then also, how do you feel about the haunted attraction? Because it's like a straight up like haunted attraction, like a your typical Halloween house, like Horror Nights, that type of
So like
thing.
people are jumping out at you and stuff
Yep.
too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think it's
I saw
yeah.
they did something like that, but I didn't
Yeah.
see a lot. But in a way, it's definitely disrespectful, I think.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I understand why. It's just, you
Yeah,
know,
and I don't want to speak of the people who actually run it, because the people who actually run it might not be like these people who disrespect them. They could be very um respectful to the ghosts. And from what I've read and all that, it seems like they are. It seems like they have that outlook, and that they just want to do it because it's just fun it's a fun setting. Um, and
mhm.
if you look at it as just the setting of it, I guess I can understand
It's
where they're coming from, but could you not just build that type of setting anywhere? But again, there's the idea of what's behind it
and
that pulls people to it.
and because of all the like black mold and stuff there, is it really that safe for people to
Yeah,
go through there?
yeah, that is
Couldn't we
true
just?
too.
I mean, it would cost more money, but simulate that like
Yeah,
like they do at Universal.
yeah, exactly. I don't know. It is a tough thing to say because I don't think it's. I don't want to say it's. I mean, like you said, it can be disrespectful. I think it could be disrespectful if you're legitimately like reenacting things that you knew happened on the premises. But if you're just doing it where it's like, oh, I'm going to be a ghostly doctor or a ghostly this, I don't know how disrespectful necessarily that is. Now, the last week or last episode when we were talking about Gacy, I think that's pretty disrespectful. Just because of the fact of like you're not taking a setting, you're taking a person that killed people, and like you're taking this idea and you're trying to turn it into a Hollywood haunted house, and it's like but
Yeah,
I guess I would have to see the actual setup itself to really make a judgment of whether it's, in my mind, disrespectful. But also in the same regard, I don't know anyone who has ever gone through a hell like Pennhurst. And I'm sure the families of the people and the people who still survive, I would gather that they're probably not the biggest fans of it either. So
yeah.
there's that too. So I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
And I think more people are drawn to it not because of the paranormal aspect, because there's so many
Yeah.
instances, and it's not that they're going there to make fun of it. It's just it's their want the experience. They want to experience what it is,
Right,
what it
exactly.
is.
And like we as a society put a stop to that institution too. So there is that. It's not like, it's not like nothing was done about it eventually. Like, it was shut down.
Mhm.
Although it took a very, very long time, much longer than it should have, but it took, America much longer than it should have to catch up with, treating, disabilities correctly. Because that was the other thing that I didn't say, that Pennhurst practiced eugenics. And do you know what eugenics is?
I'm not going to take a stab at it. I kind of know, but go ahead.
It's basically the idea, and it comes from like Nazis as well, of like purging them, like
Okay, yeah.
not
So yes,
not like it was very. They would not let them have any type of relations with each other. They wouldn't, they would make. They would make sure that they wouldn't have like sex with each other or something like that, because they were very against the idea of reproducing. Yeah. So it was this idea of like, get rid of them all because they're a bane of society, and it's like, that's disgusting. So
that's awful.
but yeah, I'm glad that they, eventually got rid of it and got to do what it did. And yeah, it's, there's the paranormal aspect, but that's kind of, as we know, we have a whole podcast on it, that it's just very intriguing to hear about that stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah. But anyway, I would
So
definitely like to visit it at some point, if not just for the historical standpoint of it.
tune in for season 4, episode 1, when Pat and Matt go into the Pennhurst Asylum.
That'd be awesome. I hope so. That'd be fantastic. That would be a lot of fun. Yeah, so yeah, speaking of that, like, that kind of wraps it with season 3. Season 4 will start back up in September. But we, it's horror time, so therefore it's not, we're not going to stop the horror. We are still going to have our horror time review this summer. So first up,
Mhm.
we're going to watch the Jaws films. So we're going to watch the 4 Jaws films and review those, because they're, the first one's classic, but the others, we'll, we'll discuss it.
I think actually that one is. I've seen the first one and maybe the second one, but I think that's all I remember. If I
Really?
remember any of them, but yeah, that'll be a good refresher, and
Yeah,
that'll be fun, definitely.
yeah. So we figure with 4th of July, it's a fun summer movie, right?
Mhm.
And then I think we have the Evil Dead films on the docket as well.
One of my faves.
Yeah. So yeah, no, we'll have fun catching up on that. I think we were saying the original trilogy, so not much of the new stuff. But even though I haven't seen the newest one yet, I do have to watch that. And then I can't remember what else we put on there. But yeah, anyway, we'll figure it out. But yeah, so probably like once a month, we will do that, and then yeah, we'll premiere with our season 4 back in September and get ready for Halloween. Yeah. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful summer. So thanks for
Okay,
joining us for season 3.
thanks. Join us for season 4.
Yes. Catch you all on the reviews.